ఇది మిర్రర్ మోడ్ లేదా?
నేను కూర్చుంటే కనపడతా కదా.
That is fine. That is fine. Share screen, edit. That is fine, funny. That is fine.
లైవ్ వస్తుంది ఆల్రెడీ.
Okay. Okay, let me share the link. Let me share the link. Am I audible, Sunny?
Yes, Rishi.
Okay.
No, చెప్పు. It will take a delay of 1 second. Want to start now?
Where can I see the participants here? Where can I see the participants? Okay. Let me see. Hi guys. Okay. Okay. Hi, Pujit. Hi, Devarshini. Let us wait for other team people also. Anyone here from performance team? Okay. Hi, Vinay. Yep, I can see 9 participants so far. Let us wait for 5 more minutes, and after that, let us continue. Yeah, hi, Akash. Hi. Is there anyone from MBM team, Navigation Builder module? I got the file in .docs extension with .docs extension. Yeah, hi, Funny. Can you please resend that in with .txt extension? Okay, we have 11 participants. So we should have around 20, right? So let us wait for 3 more minutes. Guys, meanwhile, please let others know. Inform your friends. Okay, we have 13. Nice. Okay, I think let us start. It's been more than 5 minutes. Okay, fine, good. So basically, this session is about the action types. Okay, the action types which you are going to use for your sprint one tasks. Okay, and I'm not discussing these action types with respect to one team. I'm going to discuss about each and every team. This is one of the agenda, and the second agenda is we are going to discuss about the question and answers which you have with the previous videos. Like previously, we uploaded some recorded videos, right, for each and every team, the sprint grooming sessions. We are going to discuss the question and answers of those recorded videos. Okay. Before all this, we have another part, that is I'm going to give a brief of each and every recorded video which we had before, which we uploaded before. So for each thing, that way you'll be in the same will be in the same sync. Means I'll discuss regarding those videos in perspective of action types. That way, you can map it up with the videos context and the action types context, so that way you can map it up both. Okay, so I'll start. So the pattern goes like this. So what I'll do is, first I'll take one team. Okay, first I'll take one team, and for that team I'll discuss about the overall architecture diagram of them, of the of that team. And next, what I'm going to discuss is, and I'm also going to discuss about what they are going to do in sprint one. And next, the action types, what they have sent me. Okay, we'll review them. And next, we'll discuss about the action types, what I got for you. Okay, so please be interactive. So where the place where you can ask questions is after discussing your action types, then you can ask me questions. We'll have around 5 minutes for each team. So there you can ask question and answers. And after that, we'll discuss my action. I mean the action types, what we got for you. And after that, we'll also have a small Q&A session for 5 minutes. Okay, this pattern goes for each and every team. Okay, good, great. Are we good? Are we good to start? Okay, are we good to start? Okay, thank you. So first I'm going to discuss about this asset customization module. So basically in sprint one, what we are going to discuss is we are focusing on the basic layout and the basic customization. Means here we have one feature, that is clip art. Okay, and this is another control, that is search control. For this feature, we have one control, that is search control. Okay, and we have another second control, that is maybe we can name it as icon style. We can name it as icon style control. Got it? And next we have, this is not a control. These are the icons which will display based on these icon style types. Okay, suppose in this we have filled, outline, rounded, two-tone, and sharp. Okay. So here in this drop down, you'll be able to select one icon style type. So with respect to that style, we'll display some maybe some 100 to 200 icons here. Okay. So this is what the whole functionality till here. So is that clear? Okay, good. So far, to summarize, this clip art is a feature. Please remember these terms. This clip art is a feature. Search is a control inside the feed, inside the clip art, and filled is also a control inside the clip art. Please remember this. Okay. Okay. Now here we have two tabs. That is icon and background. Okay. So these are under controls, like control tabs. Let us name it as control tabs. Okay. Why it is control tabs? Because icon, we have a single tab, right? We have two tabs. One is icon and one is background. Okay. So inside the icon tab, we'll keep the controls which are respective to icon only. And inside the background tab, we'll keep the controls which are respective to background only. That's all. So for example, if I take this small box, okay, yep, this is an icon. Okay, this is an icon. Okay, the controls which are inside the icon tab means here inside this icon tab. Okay, so those are the controls which will modify only this part, only this icon. Okay, the controls which are inside the background tab, those will modify this box. So that is what I meant by background and icon controls. Okay. So far we got a feature. We also got some controls, and we have seen some control tabs, and we have played with some controls. Suppose we have. Okay, good. So this color is an icon control, which actually applies the color to the icon. Okay. If we have the same color control inside the background, then if you apply some color or if you pick some color inside the color, then it'll apply the color to the background. Okay, so those are the two examples for icon control and background control. Okay, so far we had discussed about what they are going to do in sprint one, and what are features and what are controls and what are control tabs, and what we also discussed about some specific controls. Okay, are we good? Shall we start this overall system diagram? Okay, thank you, Nikita. So coming to this overall system diagram, I hope you guys watch this video too. So meanwhile, I'll just give some overview of this. So basically, this is the entry point of this ACA module, asset customization module. So in this entry point, for this entry point, we have three props, that is role, package type, and is authenticated. So role is the prop which defines the role of the user. That might be just a user or admin. These are just for understanding purposes. We will discuss about what are the roles we are going to keep maybe on next session, in coming sessions. Maybe let me put it that way. We'll discuss that in upcoming sessions. Okay. So and after that we have packages. That means, for example, for demonstration purpose, it is admin. Sorry. The package, right? The package is basic package and the premium package. Okay. So is authenticated is just a flag. It is just a flag which will define whether the user is authenticated or not authenticated. Okay. Good. So coming to this place, there is a, as I told that there is a main entry point, right? We have two controllers. Uh, to specific, if I want to specifically mention with React concepts, these are two components. Okay, so one component is responsible to handle the data and to render the uh, to render the components with respect to the data. Okay, so let me write it again. So basically, this display controller will take care of all the data. Data means it will take care of features, it will take care of controls, and it will render the respective features and respective controls. Okay. Uh, yep. And AC preview is solely responsible for displaying the live preview of the icon customization. Suppose if you are changing the icon color, then AC preview is responsible to show the color is actually changing. Okay, so let me show you here. Okay, so user clicked an let us take this as an example. Okay, so by default user can see this clip art option, right? So let us assume user selected a separate icon cell, whatever he wants to pick. Okay. So suppose user clicks on any icon. Suppose user clicks on any icon. Sorry, suppose user clicked on any icon. This icon. Okay. This is taken care by display controller. Okay. And user clicked on this icon, right? So we are displaying this icon here, right? So this is taken care by AC preview. Okay, so the live rendering happens and it will taken care by AC preview, and the controls and the interactions, whatever the user is doing, that will be taken care by AC display controller. Okay, so basically AC display controller also acts as a central hub, and it acts as a central hub in such a way that using this AC display controller, we can talk to the state management, and through state management AC preview will display the uh, live feature rendering or live control rendering and all. Okay, so AC display controller is also responsible to display the controls, whatever we need to whatever we need to render with respect to the users package, users role, and those type of rules and regulations. Everything will be taken care by this AC display controller. Okay, suppose I mean, if you see here, you can see the function here, that is get allowed AC features, right? So in the same way you will also have get allowed I mean generate AC controls. Okay, so these features and these controls are totally generated, and we can get the features from AC feature handler through AC feature config, and these controls are responsible to generate the respective controls for respective features. And with respect to role and package, you will be everything will be defined inside this AC controls config. Okay, so this is how we are using central hub and handlers. And coming to the controllers, now we got the controllers and we got the features, right, from respective handlers. So these controllers, inside these controllers, we have this feature controller, which is totally responsible to render the features, and this AC controls controller is totally responsible to render the respective controls and the respective features. Okay. So and coming to the state management, it is a centralized store where you can store everything related to store the data, everything related to the controls and the user interactions, everything. Okay, using the state management only, this preview is displaying the live rendering. Okay, that's all. And we have this feature specific diagrams. You also might have got the docs right now. You guys must be familiar with what these diagrams are. So coming to this background color component, this is one of the control which applies the background color for the, I mean the background color of the icon. Okay. So basically, if user interacts with this background color component, then it will dispatch an action with set CA background. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Set CA background. So action means these are the actions which we are going to dispatch from respective control to state management. That is what we are going to discuss about this evening. Okay, so this is a type of action. Okay, these are the main. This plays a key role uh, in your sprint one task. If these actions are figured out by yourself, if these actions are finalized, then assume that your task is 50% done. Okay, so that is why we are having a live session on this action types. Okay, so we dispatched an action to the reducer, and inside the reducer, we checked what is action type, and we updated the respective value, and the global context has been updated. And using the state management, our preview component detects that we have an updated state, and using that state, it'll render the respective control. I mean the background color. It will change the background color, or it might change the icon size and all. Okay. Coming to this clip art, this is also pretty much same. Here it will dispatch an action that is set C icon, and global reducer will check what is the type of action, and it will change the uh, it will change the respective icon. Okay, what is the icon which we selected, kind of, and it will update the global state, and after that it will display in the preview. Like that, you have to follow the same approach for every control component whatever you are going to implement. Okay, you need to dispatch, you need to update the value. First you need to dispatch, and you need to update the value, and you need to update the global context, and you have to properly use that value to render the icon in the preview mode, in the AC preview. Okay, yeah, I know it's been a long session. So far we had discussed about the overall system diagram of ACM team, and now let us review the action types what we got from them. Okay, I believe this is the latest file, right? Guys, someone from asset customization module team, can you please respond whether is this the file you sent me or not? Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Nikita. Okay, great. So here you have mentioned that we are going to speak about this clip art feature, and we have this set C icon. I believe that we have this flag, or we have this action type to uh, to set the icon. I mean, what is the icon we are going to select in clip art? Is that right? I mean, anyone from ACM team can respond. Is that right? Okay, great. So coming to controls, we have this CA icon size control, we have this CA background, we have the undo last action. This is interesting. This is actually not implemented in the source code, right? But I appreciate it. You did some enough research, and you got some innovative thoughts in this. You put some innovative thoughts in this. Research CA controls. Yes. This is also good. Once again. Yep. Okay, this is also good. So coming to image switcher. Okay. Uh, the team, ACM team, this is for everyone in the ACM team. Basically, in sprint one, we are just focusing on clip art. So we don't need to focus on this image feature and all. So I'm going to remove that. Okay. So coming to this feature text. Okay. In this sprint, we are also not discussing about feature text. No feature shapes. Okay. Let me see these feature shapes. Selected shape, set shape size, set shape color, set. Okay. You are speaking about the shape. Okay, you mean by circle, spherical, and kind of rectangle shape, those kind of shapes for the icon? Can you please specify what do you mean by shape? Okay, okay. So I'm right. So it is kind of rectangle, circle, and square, kind of, right? Okay, good. So yeah, we are not discussing about that. Coming to this additional toggle full screen mode, you no need to worry about this. Reset CA controls, yes, that is already mentioned here. So I'm removing that. So toggle CA control, no. Set CA icon list. This is kind of okay. This is kind of okay. We can keep this as optional. Got that, Nikita. Thank you. So remove CA icon. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Coming this set user preferences. Set user preferences means, do you mean by layout and all? Like what is a layout I have to display, kind of? Okay, got it. So we are not discussing that. So ACM access level, what do you mean by this? Like ACM access means what are the features we can give access to? Okay, role based. This is interesting. So set ACM access level. Instead, this we can what we can do is, I mean, the team from the Asian team, this is for Asian team, and other teams also can definitely listen to this because it will be helpful for you because I mean every module is pretty much similar. So the if you compare the architecture diagrams, those will be pretty much similar. So the same concept applies for you too. Okay, so please kindly listen to what I'm saying. If you speak about this role specific and permissions, role based permissions and all, so what I would suggest is we are we are getting this already. What are we getting? We are getting this role package, package type, and auth flag, right? So using these two, we can figure out what are the controls or features we need to actually display or render or we need to use with respect to the roles and package. It will be inside this AC feature config itself, and it will be inside this AC controls config. I mean, the respective configuration file has already. I mean, it will be in that structure in such a way that we need to display these features or these controls based on this package type and this role. That will be taken care of. That will be taken care inside this configuration file only. So actually, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, but what you need to worry about is you need to parse. You need to parse. Actually, you need to parse in the AC feature handler in such a way that you have to consider the props which are coming, which are actually the inputs of this feature handler and control handler. We are sending the package and the roles as props, right? So you need to take these two props and you need to parse this configuration file respectively. So you don't need a separate access level flag kind of. Instead, what you can keep is you can keep set ACM package type, set ACM role. You can keep those kind of. actions. Okay, so yeah, that is a good job. That's a good job. You got some innovative thoughts and all. So now let us discuss about what are the actions I have got for you. Okay, so we have around 26 actions for you. So that is ACM role, ACM package. ACM role is nothing but we are just the prop whatever we are getting the role that is user or admin, right? So we'll just keep that value inside this flag, and we have ACM package that is whether the user's package type is a basic package or the premium package, and whether the user is authenticated or not using this action type. Is that visible or do I have to zoom in? Okay, good. So we have this selected feature. Oh, sorry. We have this is authenticated action type. Okay, thank you, Faiz. So we have this is authenticated flag to check whether the user is authenticated or not. Kind of. And we have features. I was stressing these keywords. Clip art is a feature. Okay, clip art is a feature. So what are the features we wanted to display? Okay, thank you, Devashri. And which is the selected feature right now. So if you see this, if you see your UI, if you see your UI here, these are tabs, right? So you need to have a separate action to understand what is the current selected tab. That is what this action is like what is the current selected feature kind of. And yep, we'll go inside. We'll go a bit deeper and let us understand. Let us see the description of each and every flag. Okay. So ACM role, it sets the user role, whether it might be user or admin. Basically, this is the prop what we are getting from to this component, right? And we'll keep a action something like this: set ACM role. Okay. And we have another flag that is ACM package. This is kind of just to set the package in the state management that whether the user is, whether the user opted for basic or, I'm sorry, whether the user opted for a basic or premium. Okay, and this is authenticated action is just to check whether the user is authenticated or not. It's just it is a Boolean flag. That's all. Okay. And coming to these ACM features, we have three features, but for sprint one, we are focusing on clip art only, right? So we'll just speak about clip art. So we have clip art as a feature. So what we have to do is inside this ACM feature, inside the list, we'll have only clip art. Okay. In ACM selected feature, the default selected tab is clip art. The default selected tab, what user will see whenever when he enters into this module for the first time, he will be able to see this clip art tab. That is why we highlighted this here. Okay. So coming to the CA search control bar, CA search bar. So this is a control basically. What is this control for? This CA means it's a clip art. Okay, the CA which I am selecting here. Okay, so basically we are following this pattern. Set is to set the, we are actually setting the action type. That is why we kept the set in the starting itself. And what is the module name? ACM. Okay, what is the feature name? That is clip art. And what is the control name? It's a search bar. Okay, so if this action is true, then we'll display the search bar here. Else we won't display the search bar. Okay, the same thing goes to this also filled. I mean the icon style types also. Okay, so that is what I was saying here. The icon styles, CA icon styles. Now coming to this, we have set, we have the module, we have the feature that is clip art, and the selected icon styles means As I told, the default selected feature is clip art. Here also the default selected style is filled. Okay, so basically we need to display some icons, right, by default. So we can fill as default icon style. You can keep whatever you want. You can play with that. Okay. Later we'll see what looks good and all, and we'll figure it out, and we'll finalize that icon style to be the default style. Okay. And coming to this set asset customization module, clip art and icon. So what I'm speaking about here is this tab. Okay, so inside clip art we have two tabs, that is icon and background, right? So for icon, this for icon sets a, oh, I'm sorry, this is C icon. So what you need to do is you just have to if a user selects an icon, this is the icon which we are setting inside this set ACM CA icon, clip art icon. Okay, so coming to this set ACM control tabs. So what is this area for? This specific area is for controls, right? So here we have two types of controls, that is icon and background. Okay, so that is why we kept control tabs. Those tabs are icon and background. Okay, suppose if a user who is just a user, the role of the user is just a user, and the package is basic, then we'll display just icon. We won't display the background. So that's how we'll control everything through these action types. Okay, so that powerful action types are. Okay, coming to this set ACM asset customization module selected control tabs. Okay, suppose you have selected icon. I mean, the default tab is icon. I mean, the default tab which has been selected is icon. Okay, suppose if user selects the background, then this will get updated to background. That's all. Okay, coming to this set ACM CA means clip art, and I is for icon, icon tab. Okay, and I is for icon tab. And inside icon tab, we will have some specific controls, right? So, for example, we have a action that is set ACM CA clip arts icon tab has a control that is icon size. If you observe this control, this is specific to icon only. Uh, it is not related. It is not at all related to the background, right? It is specifically increasing the size of icon. Okay, so that is why we have mentioned two tabs. I mean, we kept this control inside this icon. Okay, so the naming convention is like this. I'm trying to repeat it again, so that way you guys will get familiar with the naming conventions and all. So set is to mention that we are just setting the value. Okay, so coming to this module name, and we have a feature, and we have the tab, that is icon, and the control name, whatever there inside that icon or background tab. Got it? In same way, we have this CA clip art and background tab and the control name. uh, yep. So here you can see this flag. For example, I gave this that is set ACM clip art backgrounds and background color. Okay, and we have this undo action, and we have this redo action. You have this undo action, right? But you don't have this redo action. Okay, so you need to add this also. So we need to have redo action too, and we need to have reset action, means reset everything to default styles. Okay, and you have this last action. Last action means, let us assume user changed the size of icon. Okay, after that he changed the size, he changed the color of the background. So what is the last action performed by user? Nikita, I just saw your question. Please hold on a minute. I'll just complete these actions and I'll come back to you. Okay, so we just I'm sorry. So first, user increase the size of the icon, and after that, user change the color of the background. So the last action performed by the user is, it is the size of the icon, right? So that we need to store that action in the last action. And the next action is something like, you should also suggest, or you should also show that the next action what you can perform is this one, to optimize, to show that you're actually talking to the user. You can actually add these type of actions. Got it? And yeah, suggestion or next action, we can actually think both are same. Okay, we also should have to implement an action, that is error notification, success notification, and info notification, and kind of loading state. Suppose uh, if you're applying an action which takes a long time, okay, then you need to show something like loading UI, kind of loading animations and all. That actually helps user that to not to move on, you have to hold, we are doing something in the background, kind of. Okay, so and also you have to save the user controls, right? So that way user will, if user login into this site again, he should be able to start from where he left. Okay, so you need to save the actions too. And it will be great, it would be great if we also add a history action. So previously you performed so and so actions, now you can perform these actions for better improvement, or else to make your icon more kind of to make your icon more professional, or you can add more features so that it looks very good, kind of. Okay, and finally, last but not the least, you need to validate whatever the whatever the inputs or whatever the controls the user has used. Okay, so at last you need to validate everything, else we should not blindly believe that the data what we are going to get is correct, is a valid data. We should never believe that data whatever we are getting from another module or from another section, we should never ever assume that that data is a valid data. You need to validate first, and then only you have to perform the action whatever you are going to perform. Okay, finally, after a long session, these are the icons what I figured out for ACM modules. ACM module, I mean, asset customization module. Now, coming back to the questions. Yes, Hoshi, those role is authenticated and selected features are already implemented. Okay, so basically in the source code, what we have given, I mean, you're speaking in that perspective only, right, Nikita? Okay, great. Yes, we have implemented, but what we have done is it's just a building block, Nikita. It is not a complete implementation of a single feature or a single action. We'll remodify it and we'll rework on it. So that is why I was. If you see these icon types, you will not find. Maybe you'll not even find a single action with the exact name. If you observe, you guys have to implement these actions. Got that? Great, thank you. So, yeah, the discussion of ACM team, that is asset customization team, has completed. Anyone have any questions like Nikita, Devarshini, Huzaif, Surya? Now, there is a time you have to interact. Okay, come on, guys. Don't you have any questions? Okay, great. Nikita, what about Devarshini? Are you good? Okay, so Nikita, you're responding on behalf of your team or just by yourself? Okay, so I hope. Okay, great, great. Thank you, Nikita. Then. I think we are good. Let us focus on other thing. Okay, this is the team which I am going to speak about next is navigation builder module. So navigation builder module. Let me check the team members. So Suchendra, Sudeva, and Karthik, you three are you three here? Suchendra, Sudeva, and Karthik. Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Suchendra. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Sudeva. So, yep, coming to this navigation builder module, actually, this is a very interesting module. I should actually say this. Okay, coming to this navigation builder module, I mean, you can see the field, right? You have some controls here, you have a phone here. Like, it actually feels like you're actually playing with the phone. With whatever you are doing from the from in the left side, if it reflects on the right side, it actually you'll get a feeling that okay, I'm implementing a real phone kind of. Okay, okay, I'm very bad at my sense of humor is very bad. Please don't mind. Okay, so we have this navigation builder module, and once. Okay, so this sidebar, this sidebar is a feature. I'll start from here. Okay, because yeah, the same thing what you are going to do in sprint one is you're also focusing on the layout, and you're also focusing on the basic customization, right? So now coming to the terms, please be very careful and please remember these terms. Sidebar is a feature, okay, and header, primary, and secondary are the controls of the respective feature. Okay, so basically, what you are going to implement is you have a header, right? You have a header. So header is nothing but the top part of this screen, and the primary is nothing but the screen between header and the secondary, and the secondary is the bottom screen. Okay, I'm not going to reveal what is there, what are you going to see in the header and what are you going to see in the primary and secondary right now itself, because that is not our current scope for sprint one. So we'll see in the next sprint. Okay, so we have features and we have controls, header, primary, secondary. Okay, so this is what you are going to build. And these are tabs basically. Sidebar is a tab, header is a tab, primary is a tab, secondary is a tab. So the selected feature here is sidebar, and the selected control here is header. Okay. So basically, these tabs which are with these color notifications, it means these are the defaultly selected tabs. Okay. That's all. This is what you are going to implement. I mean, uh, although you got a module, you got a building block, right? We also discussed that in the previous video. So this is completely different from what you have seen in the what you have seen in the previous video. You cannot find anything. I mean, uh, the left part has been implemented by us, but the whole right part you have to implement in this sprint. The right side part, right half. Okay. So coming to this overall system diagram, I'm going to wrap it up fast, but I'll try to make it as clear as possible. Okay. So here in overall system diagram, we have three props, that is package type, role, and is authenticated. These are the same three props which we got in the previous module. And here also we have a main component, which is navigation builder module, which actually has two components, that is NB display controller and NB preview. So basically, NB display controller is responsible to handle user actions, okay, and display those respective actions inside. I mean, handle user actions and rendering features. Okay, I don't want to make it too complicated. Let me tell you again. So this display controller is responsible for handle user actions and rendering features and controls. Okay, that is the main use case of this display controller. And what does this preview controller does? This preview controller actually captures the user actions. I mean, captures the user actions on the controls, and if user is clicking on another tab, that is primary. If user is clicking on the tab secondary, or so and so type of actions, this NB preview will capture and it will display those respective actions in the preview mode, in the live preview section. Actually, tabs are already there in the display controller only, but if you have to implement some controls inside the tabs, right? Uh, I mean, you have to implement some controls here, where if user performs a specific action on this control here, it will actually reflected in the respective header or primary or secondary. So that is what I was that kind of rendering and that kind of reflection and that type of live preview will be taken care of in B preview. So as I told, display controller is actually the central hub of this whole architecture diagram. It actually fetches the features, it actually generates the controls, and it also generates the sub controls with the help of these handlers. Okay, so inside these handlers will perform logic in such a way that we need to each and every handler, whatever you're seeing here, that is feature handler, control handler, and sub control handler, whatever you're seeing here, it will pass through this configuration file. These handlers will pass through this respective configuration files on the basis of role and the package, and it will return the respective list of features, controls, and subcontrols based on the package and role. Okay, suppose this type of suppose if a user is admin and the package is premium. Okay, this applies for all handlers, right? So based on these two parameters, it will fetch the list of all features, it will fetch the list of all controls, it will fetch the list of all sub controls, and it will return those three. Okay, coming to this, we got them, we got the features, we got the controls, and we got the sub controls, and next we will update in the state management. It is good to update everything in the state management if we are working on a module, because you are actually broadening the scope of this module. I mean, you're actually broadening the scope of this module. I mean, if any other module, let us assume that you have some Z module, you have some Z module. If that Z module wants to communicate with your module, then all you have to do is you just have to communicate with the state management. That's all. You don't need to uh, you don't need to worry about whether I have to give access to this configuration file to this Z module or not. You don't need to worry about those all. So that is the beauty of the state management and the centralized store management. Okay. So yep, we updated the features, controls, and sub controls, and we got the features. We pass the features to the feature controller. We pass the controls and sub controls to the controls controller. Okay, these namings are a bit hard, but we'll get habituated eventually. Okay, yeah, this feature controller is totally solely responsible to render the features. Okay, and this controls controller is solely responsible to render the controls and sub controls. Okay, so coming back to the top point, features here is sidebar. Okay, and the controls here is header, primary, secondary, and the sub controls which we are not going to focus on, sprint one. Okay, it depends on the progress. Maybe if you guys are moving very fast, then we'll definitely work on this. Okay, So, yep, we have actually in the building block what we gave you, it already has a control. It already has a control that is menu text. Whatever you are writing, you might have understood the architecture by seeing the previous video, and you I hope you also gone through the code. You can check this whenever you are writing something inside the menu text. It will be keep on dispatching an action. Great, Sudeva. Thank you. So it will be keep on dispatching an action to the reducer, and reducer will be updating the global context and using that global and using this use nbm state hook, you'll be displaying the menu text value in the preview section, right? So coming to this feature specific diagram, that is what we have just spoken about. So we have this menu text component, and what we are doing is what whenever user interacts with this, we are just dispatching an action that is set nb menu text, and inside the reducer, we'll just check whether the action type is menu text. Then you need to update the menu text value. Okay, then it will update the global context, and using this hook use nbm state, our preview component will actually display the exact text whatever the user is interacting in live. Okay, so yep, this is the overall system diagram of this navigation builder module. And let me check out the action types what I got from them. This is a docs file. Give me a second. Okay, I mean I don't have any word editor. That is why I asked for dot text extension. That is fine. Where is this? Let me check whether I can. I think I can. So, is that visible? Is it visible now? Okay, sent in text. Give me a second. Okay, got that, Sudeva. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Okay, then the is good. Okay, is that visible now? Is it visible? I guess it is. Okay, good. Okay, thank you, Suchendra. Thank you so much. So coming to these action types, you have this set NB features. NB means you're speaking about this sidebar, right? NB features. So I'll note it down here. So you're speaking about sidebars. Okay, perfect. So coming to the controls, you're speaking about header, primary, and secondary, right? Great. So coming to the subcontrols, we don't have any, and we are not focusing on right for sprint one. So in the building block, what you have is you have a menu text. You can use it, or else I just kept that for demonstration purpose. We'll keep it as optional whether you want to use this menu text as your subcontrol or not. We'll keep it as optional. Okay, and the selected feature means whether the sidebar is selected or not, right? Is that right? Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. So selected control means whether the header is selected or primary is selected or secondary is selected. Great. I think I understood which control is here. Okay, which feature is selected. HC menu text will keep this as optional. Okay. Set user role, set user package type. This is good. Role of the user. Role of the user, and this is package type the user. That is also fine. Okay, action, additional action types, toggle sidebar, no. Toggle sidebar. Wait. Toggle sidebar means, are you speaking about this Preview section, whether you have to whether you have to toggle it or not, kind of. Is that right? Okay, great. Uh, I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your innovative thoughts, but we will focus on this maybe in further sprints because it will be hectic if you start implementing this action. But we'll see based on the uh, timelines we have and based on the progress what you guys are making. We'll see whether we have to implement that or not. Okay, is that fine? Good. Okay, great. Thank you, Sudeva. So add menu item, no, we are not focusing right now. Remove menu item, we are not focusing right now. Update menu item, we are not focusing. Toggle menu item visibility. Uh, Actually, we can add all these as options because I don't think that we'll get that much of buffer. I don't think that we'll get that much of buffer. Okay, let me bring this also to actions. Okay, so far so good. I understood the essence what you are thinking of. Basically, you focused on the exact requirement what we are focusing on the sprint one. But it is great that you also think through a step ahead, and after that you came up with some new action items. Now let me discuss the action types. Action types what I have for you. Give me a second. Yep. So we completed this asset customization module. So coming to this navigation builder module. So you have the set NBM role, okay, which you already familiar with, and the NBM package and each authenticated flag and feature, selected feature. Let us go one by one and let us understand what each action does. Okay, so in set NBM role is responsible to set the role of user and the package which you already have written inside the action types what you have given to me. So I'm not going to spend enough time on this, but to briefly summarize it, it is going to set the package type based on the user's subscription. That is, what do you say? Basic. Okay, good. So coming to this set, NBM is authenticated. It's just a flag. Okay, whether you have to give true or false. NBM features we are focusing on sidebar itself, sidebar only. So that is why we have sidebar feature, and the selected feature is nothing but the default tab which has been selected when the user sees the view for the first time. So will be the default selected tab is sidebar. So that is what this NBM selected feature is. Okay, SB controls. So as the naming convention goes like this, set the same thing. We are actually using to set the value, right? So NBM is a module type, and SB is sidebar. That is a feature, and we have some controls inside the sidebar. That is header, primary, secondary, and the next action type is set NBM selected SB control. Means whether the header is selected by default or the primary is selected or the secondary is selected. So for now we are keeping that header is the default selected sidebar control. Okay. And coming to this set NBM, that is navigation builder module, sidebar header. Okay. So if you observe this is the same naming convention which we followed for ACM, that is asset customization module, right? So the sidebar module, the sidebar feature has a control that is header. Inside that we have some control names. That is, maybe we are just adjusting the size of the header, or else the color of the header, the background color. That type of things and all will come under this control names. In the such a way, we have this primary, we have this secondary. I just added these action types to demonstrate how you need to focus on the naming conventions. Okay, so for now in sprint one, all you'll do is you'll just add this action. That's all. Okay, so the main feature is we need to focus on the basic layout and the customization of the UI. We'll make sure that the UI looks uh, pretty much professional. So I mean, believe me, guys, working on the UI and UX is not uh, it is not like simply writing a logic. It we need to keep on iterating through the process. Like suppose you'll come up with a single UI to me, okay? I'll tell you some suggestions. Then you'll go and modify that again. We need to uh, do a lot of iterations when we are working on the UI, because each and every one's perfect perspective on seeing the things, on seeing the UI, it'll be totally different. Some has some different taste. Some like minimalistic UI. Some like kind of dark UI. Some people like contrast UIs. I mean, in Visual Studio Code also, I just wanted to take an example. So some people use the dark mode in Visual Studio. Some people use light mode. So it all depends on each and every individual. So, but for this product, for this module, we have some set of guidelines. What is the theme we need to follow and all. Basically, you might have gone through in the video also that we have a light mode and dark mode. So in dark mode also we need to follow the proper guidelines and all, which you'll understand soon. No worries. It is also implemented in the source code itself. You can go and check it out. Okay, so coming to this sidebar secondary control names, so it is like this. So here you are going to mention your control name and feature name. Okay, so in the same way you have this undo action, redo action, reset action, the last performed action by the user, and the next performed action. I mean, you should actually suggest user, whatever the product you are going to work on, or whatever the module you are working on, you should actually make user to feel comfortable with using your product. That is a main thumb rule you have to understand. Means our product should actually talk to the user. Okay, if we do that, we are actually telling that user, go and do this action. Then you'll get an approximate result, which is approximately to excel. Okay, kind of we need to suggest some actions uh, based on the user's previous actions. That is what AI is, right? So it actually gives us some responses based on the previous data, right? So based on the data only, it will give the responding current actions or current scenarios or whatever it is. So we need to design products in such a way that we need to actually talk to the user. I mean, to we need to actually interact with the user. That is what we'll mention in technical terms like user-centric design, user experience, user interface. That is why people specifically mentions in some fields that user. So, okay, coming to this, we have this error notification, success notification. I mean, we'll have some small kind of small UI pop-ups kind of. Have you guys familiar with the toast TOAST toast? Let me show you. Toast notification means this kind of. Okay, great. I'm not speaking. I mean, it is not about React only, Sudeva. It is about even if you go into the mobile development or whatever, you should be familiar with this synonym. I mean, you should be familiar with this word that is toast. Toast means it's just a simple pop-up kind of. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sudeva. Uh, so basically, it's just a pop-up. I mean, for the people who don't know, Toast is nothing but it's just a pop-up which will show a small kind of notification. You might have used some desktop apps where you'll get simple notification in the from the right side. So you have some different specified colors like success has green, error has red, kind of. You can mention whatever you want to. I mean, with respect to the color combinations, what you are going to follow. Okay. So like that, we'll add some specific UIs, that is error notification, success notification. That means it's a toast. Okay, info notification and loading state. This loading state, it is actually very important. You need to think in this way. So you are performing an action. Okay, so we never know that this action is going to take just a fraction of seconds or it is going to take 15 to 20 minutes. Who knows? No one knows. It totally depends on the action, right? So maybe it is also kind of a background running task. So we never know. It totally depends on the action. I mean, it totally depends on the task and it totally depends on the feature or use case what you are focusing on. Okay. So in that case, we need to use this loading state. If an action is performing or if an action is taking more time to give the result, then you need to keep this loading state to true. That's how you can mention that you can tell to user that you need to wait because we are processing something in the background. Okay, so in the same way, we should have the save action, history action, validation. Finally, we should validate everything because not every data is a valid data. You need to validate and you need to make sure that it's a valid data, and then only you have to perform the action whatever you're going to perform. Okay, that's how you need to implement a module. You need to make sure that you need to validate whatever the input you're going to get. Got it? Yeah, that's all for the navigation builder module teams action types. Okay, now the interesting part is the questionnaire. Do you have any questions? Let me check the team members. Suchendra, Sudeva, and Karthik, do you have any questions? Okay, I think you're. Are you typing something, or we are good? Okay, suggestions and save can be done. Just implementation. Uh, yes, you can implement it uh, just static also. But the thing is, how will you pass the saved module, or how will you suppose? Let us assume that you have a dashboard. Okay, so how will you send the suggestions, or how will you send the saved data, whatever you have, to the dashboard module? You can't send it to the other modules, right? You can only if you implement it static, what you have to do is it is the scope of that saved information, or the scope of the suggestions what you're speaking about, it is just with respect to the module only itself. It is just respected to, I mean, it is just respected to the module itself. So you cannot pass the suggestions and save to other modules. Okay. It is clear, right, Sudev? Great. Okay. Suchendra, do you have any questions? Suchendra and Karthik. Okay. Thank you, Suchendra. I hope, I don't know whether Karthik is there or not, but I'm thinking that you guys are telling on behalf of your team. Okay. Now let us focus on the another team. That is performance module. Yep. So coming to this module, let me check whether the team members are there or not so that they won't miss something. So Akash, Pavan, Fidos, and Faiz, are you there? Are you guys there? Akash, Pavan, Fidos, and Faiz. Okay, thank you, Pavan. What about the other three? Okay, okay, thank you, Akash. Okay, so yeah, I can see some of your team members. So let us start. So coming to this performance module, yep, this is the team where you need to. I mean, the work for the team is all you have to do is you'll get a URL. Okay, so all you have to do is you just run the web audit on that URL, and you have to return the performance analytics, or else you can say that audit analysis instead of just performance. Okay, so basically you need to return the what is the performance, what is the SEO score, what is the accessibility score, and what are the best practices to make sure that this website, the URL of the website, whatever you given, that website is performing to increase the performance and all. You should be able to provide all the details so that user can increase their performance. Okay. So yeah, in sprint one, what you're going to do is you're just going to establish connection with. Oh, how did I forget that? With client, establish connection with. We can keep it like this. Client and server. I think this is good for now. Sorry guys, I haven't notified. I haven't noted this. Okay, good. So this sidebar is a feature. Sorry, this should not be the sidebar. Actually, this should be overview. I mean, diagrams are pretty similar, right? So I have been copy pasting each and every team's diagrams above. Okay, so please bear with me. I'm sorry for that. So here, this overview is a feature. Okay, and inside the overview, we have you can see these four progress bars. I mean, to specifically see that four circular progress bars. I'll name it as CPB. Okay. So this first circular progress bar, we can see that as performance, and the second one is accessibility, and the third one is best practices, and the fourth one is SEO, search engine optimization. Okay, if you want to, basically we are using our open source tool to calculate all these values. You can check it out. The name of that is Lighthouse by Google. It's an open source. You can go and play with that if you want to. By Google. Yeah, by Google. It's a Chrome extension basically. Okay. So we have these four progress bars, circular progress bars, which will actually show what is the performance, what is the overall score of this performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. Okay, here we just wanted to add a small thing, that is whether this is for mobile or desktop. I mean mobile view or desktop view. Okay, so if we run this website inside the mobile, then what is the performance? What are these values? If we run this website inside the desktops, what are these values. So that is what we need to calculate. Okay, this is what you are going to achieve in sprint one. Okay, so I already discussed about the building block what I gave for you. So I'm jumping into the overall system diagram what we have for this module. Okay, so here also we are going to pass three props, that is package type, role, and is authenticated. Package type basically means whether the user opted for basic package or premium package, and the role is whether the user's role is just a user or admin. Okay, the same way is authenticated is a flag to notify that whether the user is authenticated or not. Okay, authenticated or not. And interestingly, the architecture of this performance module has changed a bit. I mean, we each and every module cannot exactly follow the same architecture, right? We need to uh, some architectures need another type of design. So among them, one of the module is this. So and the similar architecture of performance module is there for deployment team. So we shortly call them as dev. Okay. So this team also follows the same architecture. Okay, so coming to this performance module, we have three props as we discussed just now, and inside that we have two components, that is display controller and preview controller. And in display controller, I mean this acts as a central hub, and this is solely responsible to handle everything related to the data. I mean, if you want to process, if you want to compute something, or if you want to do something with the data. I mean, if you want to do anything with the data, it will be done in this layer only. That will be taken care of only the display controller. That will be taken care of display controller. Okay, why I thought to separate these all components with a single line, but let me do that. So yes, this one. Everything here, everything here is taken care about only with respect to the data. There is no rendering and all. Previously, in previous architecture diagrams, we have some rendering part also here, but here in this architecture, we don't have anything related to rendering here. Okay, so everything related to rendering will be done here. Okay. Okay, next time I'll try to bring a whiteboard and pen, a digital whiteboard and digital pen. I'll in such a way that I it won't be very tough to write with the mouse. I'll try my best. Okay, coming to this display controller, we are basically using a hook to communicate with the state management, and we have this use effect hook where you will get the allowed features. What are the features we need to display for the performance module? Okay, and we'll pass those features to the feature controller. That is all it is. But the chain what you need to understand is here we got the features, right? So we can't show a blank screen to the user until the whole process is done. Okay, what we need to do is we got a single output, right? That is features. So why don't we show that features to the user first? Okay, that is the main idea. Okay, so we used this hook to update the features inside the state management. And using that hook inside the preview controller, which is this, inside the preview controller, what we'll do is we'll kind of render the selected feature. I mean, whatever the features we got, we will render those features. We will render those features. Using this, user won't see a black screen completely. Like it will be like something is happening behind the scenes. I'm not aware of, which I'm not aware of. So what we'll do is we'll just render step by step. Whatever we get, we'll render it. Whatever we get, we'll render it. That's all. Okay. So yes, this is how we are rendering the features. First, we'll update in the state management, and then using the state management hook, using the hook which is there in the state management, preview controller will render the feature, respective feature. Okay. So then we got the features. We'll send the feature to the feature controller, and feature controller is actually acts as a hub, another hub. Okay, another, maybe you can say that as feature hub. Okay, so that acts as a feature hub for all features. So now, for now, we are focusing on this overview only, right? Overview feature only. So that is why we have this overview hub. Okay. So inside this overview hub, we have multiple handlers. That is, one is for API and another is for controls. Okay. The DAM team, the deployment automation team, guys, please listen to this architecture. I mean, you guys also please listen to this architecture carefully because it will be pretty similar to what yours is. Okay. So we have this API handler and we have this controls handler. So control handler, I mean, if you see here, we have this function to get the allowed controls of overview feature, to get the allowed APIs for controls, which controls overview controls. So what we are going to do is the same logic what we are following for the handlers previously in the other architecture diagrams. This handler is responsible to, give me a second. This handler is actually responsible to get the features from the config file based on the package role and the feature what we are focusing on. Means we got the overview feature, and for overview feature for this package, for this role, what are the controls we can, sorry, what are the APIs? So this is the API handler, right? So what are the APIs we can display? What are the APIs we can give access to? So here we'll get the list of APIs. Okay, that will return to overview hub. The same way we'll also get the controls. Using the same logic, instead of APIs, we'll return the controls to the overview controller. That is overview hub. Okay, we got the features. Sorry, I mean we got the controls and we got the APIs, right? So as I told before, we can't make user to see a simple blank screen by doing everything behind the scenes. Okay, so we got the controls here. So what we'll do is we'll display the controls. What we'll do is we'll dispatch an action to state management that we got some overview controls, and using that state management will fetch the values of overview controls and will display these two controls, that is overview circular progress bar and overview tab bar. Tab bar is not in this sprint. Maybe we'll see whether we can implement this based on the timeline and based on the progress what we make through. But for now, this is not in this sprint. We are focusing on overview circular progress bar itself. Got it? Great. Okay, so now what we are left with? We are left with APIs. Okay, so we are left with APIs and we have a service. So service is something like this is solely responsible to talk to the backend. What is the backend? Whatever the backend we have. Okay, so this is a service, and this service is responsible to send the request from the respective APIs which we got from here. I mean this one. We got the APIs in this function, right? We got the APIs in this function. From this function, whatever the APIs we got, we are this overview service is responsible to send the request from those APIs. Where do it go? It will go to the backend. That is our Flask application. This is a main route where you'll communicate with. And basically, what you have here is you have some configurations and initializers. You are basically initializing the cell rig, and you're establishing that Redis connection, and you are obviously you should have a core setup, right, for your application. So that is what you are doing here. And you have a blueprint, that is a lighthouse blueprint. These are just technical words with respect to that technology. But coming to simplify this, let me put it this way: this as a simple class. So this is a lighthouse class. Okay. So inside this lighthouse class, we have validators, we have controllers, and we have services, and we have utilities. Okay. So inside these controllers, we have this get audit results. I mean, I'm just going through the whole diagram, but I'll tell you the main concept what we are focusing on in sprint one. Okay. But wait for a moment. Just wait for a moment. So basically, this get audit results is the API which is responsible to send these values. Okay. Okay. But what is the API? Where is the API which will actually trigger? I mean, which will actually send the web URL to this Flask application to run the audit. That is not there in this diagram. So you're not passing any web URL to this Flask application. We need to figure it out when to send the URL to the backend. That way to the backend. That way, our audit is I mean, we can perform the audit. Then only we can get the results, right? Without performing any audit on the website, how can we get the results? We cannot get the results, right? So that initial part where we are going to send the URL from the client to the backend is missing. Okay, we'll figure it out, no worries. But we have implemented a standalone React application. I hope you guys also played with that. So that is a place, that is a standalone React application where you can enter a URL, and if you click on submit, then you'll see these values. Have you guys played with that standalone React application on your backend? The backend team. This question is for the backend team. Akash Fidos. Great. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you, Faiz. So, yep, the in that using that standalone React application, you can actually talk to this backend. I just created that standalone application because we can remove the dependency of front end and the backend. Okay, so that people in the backend, people who are working in the backend, can actually test their backend using the standalone React application. Else, they would have to wait for the front end team to complete the whole task, and they have to work after that. If they figure out any errors, again the front end team should have to work, and they have to wait till the front end team works. So it is not feasible, and it is not a efficient solution, right? So we had implemented a standalone React application. That's all. So okay. So yep, we discussed about this get audit results, which is the main API to return the actual progress values of performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. And start audit is the main function which is responsible to actually start the audit of the website. So yes, in the building block, what we have given. Okay, let me not confuse. First, let me explain these two, and I'll start speaking about the building block, what we gave, and what you guys have to do. Got it? So these salary workers are the workers, like it is like a thread, it is like a separate task, uh, which will keep on performing. If I draw a simple diagram, this is the main. I have to spend some time on this because here till now we have been focusing on the front end only, right? But here the main part of the sprint one is they have to establish the connection. That is the main part between they have to establish the connection between client and server. So please bear with me, guys, and other teams, please also watch this. This is actually important for you guys too, because you guys are a team, right? So if a team is focusing on one thing, and if another team, if a member from another team gets some buffer, they can actually contribute with this team, or they can actually contribute in this team also. That depends on individual, but still you guys have to work as a team, right? So that's all. Okay, so this is a API. Let us think that there is a API request we got for the Flask application. Got it? And after that, what are we doing? Forget about this configurations and this light or the blueprint and all. I don't want to focus on those. Okay, here we have a salary worker, and here we have a Redis. Okay, we got a URL. Let us assume we got a URL. What the salary worker does is it it runs a loop. Okay, it runs a loop on. I mean, it runs a loop of auditing that website. I mean, whatever the URL of the website is, it keeps on running the audit on that website. Okay, suppose after iteration one, we got some result. What it will do is it will store this result in the Redis. Okay, now what does this Redis does? This Redis actually should inform. I mean, this Redis is actually connected to some Lighthouse blueprint, whatever what is the blueprint of the class, whatever we were saying. This Lighthouse blueprint actually sends an event to the client. We'll keep it as client. Okay. So then that way, client will be able to understand. Okay, there is some data more there. I mean, we got some new data in the backend. Okay, so what should we have to do? We should send an API request and fetch the new data or the modified data. Okay, so client will send the request again, so it will fetch the latest data. Okay, this keeps on running. This also keeps on running. This also keeps on running whenever there is an update. Okay, and this also keeps on running. This keeps an, I mean, this sends a request only when there is a small modification in the data. Okay, that's how this whole process should work. But in the current scenario, what is happening means, in the building block what we gave to you, everything is working good, but here this process, I mean, running the audit on the website, running the audit on the website is not happening, which is why we are not able to get the live performance data, or I mean the updated performance data. The rest all is working. So what you guys have to do is first establish the connection. Forget about this looping and all, like continuous auditing and all. Focus on just establish the connection and just display the data whatever you got from the client, sorry, whatever you got from the backend, and just display in the UI. That's all. That is your sprint one task. Okay, so I hope this overall system diagram is clear. Do you have any questions? I know this is a quite lengthy overall system diagram, so that is why I just wanted to ask whether you have any questions or not. Team Akash, Pavan, Firdos, Faiz. Any questions, guys? To audit any website performance in our mobile, do we need to implement a text area to take the web? That is a good question, actually. So, yep, the answer to your question is we don't need to implement any text field. Uh, that website URL will be as a prompt for this module, initial prompt. You got that? So along with these three prompts, you are going to send another prompt for your module, that is URL. So you might have understood when to call that start audit function. When you get this prop, you can directly call that backend API. Just start auditing the website. Is that clear, Akash? Great, thank you. And others, are you asking the question on behalf of your team, or is just an individual question? To display mobile or desktop at top right, do we need to simply show the device type that is currently being used to access it? No, 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 no. What we'll do is, let me add a small UI element for you. That will help actually. Let us assume we have a small box here. Okay, we'll keep a very small box, and what we'll do is sloppiness. I don't want any sloppiness. Give me a second, guys. We'll keep a small icons like this. We'll keep a small icons like this, just to with these two flags, with these two controls. Like we'll have here for web, we'll have here for web. With these two controls, if you click on this mobile, so what you'll do is you'll just display the progress of the web. Sorry, Android. Sorry, mobile. Okay, if you click on the desktop icon, so it will display the progress bars related to the desktop. So we don't need to show that currently this device is using. So that is why I'm going to show this and all. We are not using this one. We are showing the analysis of both mobile and desktop. So user should select what is the analysis he want to check for. He want to check it. Got that, Akash? Okay, great. So any other questions? Any other questions, guys? Okay, great. Thank you, Akash. Is it on behalf of your team or just as an individual? I mean, I just wanted to make sure whether. Okay, thank you, Faiz. What about Firdos and Pawan? Are we good? Are we good? Shall we start with another module? Okay, that is fine. I'm going to start another module. So we are left with two more modules. And thank you, Pawan. Thank you so much. So coming to this preview management module. So yep, this preview management module, this is kind of interesting. This is similar to this navigation builder module, but I mean, the use case or the way the core functionality of this is pretty similar. Actually, we haven't discussed about. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let us see your action types. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. See, what about the action types? Yes, yes. Five, five. I'm going with it. Um, performance module. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let me go through this. I haven't seen these files initially. I'm just checking them online. Okay, authentication, user management, set authentication, set user role, profile data. No, there's no profile data. User permissions and roles. No, we are not specifying any permissions and roles. We are just giving the package type. That's all. That will be those permissions and roles will be inside the configuration files where the handlers are taking care of. You got that right? The handlers are taking care of means here, here in this configuration file. It will be taken care there. Clear? Okay. So I hope it is clear. So we don't have any permissions. Instead, we have a package type, which you have already mentioned here. Great, thank you, Faiz. So logout user, which you are not going to taking care of, because we are just sending a flag that is authenticated. Oh, wait. Clears user session and resets related state. No. Instead, what you can tell is whether the authentication flag is false. You can just return that. You can just throw a pop-up that you are not a logged in user. Okay, you can keep it like that. That would be good actually. But logout user, we don't have that. Okay. And coming to this feature management, wow, guys, I like your presentation. I love the way how you presented the things like errors, UI state management. Good job. So coming to this feature management, we have this PF package type, basic or premium, good. So PF features, update the list of the features accessible to the user. What do you mean by features? Features are a kind of overview. Overview is a feature, right? So do you mean by that? Okay, great. 1 second, let me check. Oh, guys, 1 second. Okay. Coming to this package type, fine, PF features, fine, selected PF feature, performance feature is okay. The current, the default selected is the default selected feature by the user or the user sees is the overview feature. That is what you have written. I mean, you meant by that only, I think. Okay, updated PF feature. Wow, updates the list of PF feature. No, we don't have anything to update. I mean, those features, whatever we are going to mention, set is used during login and update when user makes some changes in the state. Um, I like the idea. I mean, after seeing the text, what you kept first, what I understood is in line number 9, the current line which I highlighted, I mean, at the very start, we'll use to set. Okay, that is fine. That is what we are doing till now. But I'm actually surprised with the highlighted line. I mean, the highlighted line, update PF feature list. What do you mean by this, team? I mean, do you mean that whether the user wants to, suppose the role of the user suddenly changed? So then what we'll do is we'll update the list of the feature. You mean by you meant that? Do you mean by that? I mean at the very start we use exactly. Got it. I mean when user suddenly change the package role exactly. This is interesting. Interesting. Okay, I'll keep it. I'll keep it at the bottom. Okay. So coming to here, toggle PF feature visibility. Toggle PF feature visibility. Mm, what do you mean by this? Means whether the feature should be visible to the user or not. Is that is that what you're saying? when we need to hide a single feature at the very instance. Uh, Actually, Faiz, that is good, but or we need to make it visible. No, 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 no. Actually, that is taken care here. I mean, if you're handling everything with the flags, individual flags, then what is the use of this package type and what is the use of this role? Then those are useless, right? So that is why you don't need to take care of this. You have to take care of this dynamically using this role and package type. Make sense? So we don't need to actually uh, display or not to display. We should not control them using the flags. We should control them using the flags which we already have. I mean the action types which we already have. So this is not necessary. But that's a good job. I mean the this updated PF feature list is quite interesting. So coming to this control management, PF overview control, selected control, PF control. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean by this? Selected PF control is already here. So why is this here again? So this is not needed, right? So you just kept for reference, right? So you kept the same thing. The line number 8 and the line number 13 is same, right? Oh, this is feature and this is control. Once again. Selected. No, 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 no. If you observe, that is actually a good thought. So PF control means you are actually uh, defining what is the control you are going to display. I mean, once again, let me show you in terms of UI. Control is different from feature, as you see. Good. That is why I'm navigating to this. So, see, this is a control, right? Circular progress bar. And in the building block, what we gave for you, in the building block, what we gave for you might have also have some tabs here, if I'm not wrong, right? So this is another control. So that is, let us assume that tab bar, TB, tab bar. Okay. So these are the two controls of overview. Okay, these are the two controls of overview. Okay, now let us come back to your list. So selected PF feature is overview, fine, good. What do you mean by selected PF control? So here, if you see this, you cannot select anything here. This is simply a separate component. This is also simply a separate component. If it is a tab like this, like overview, we have some other tabs, then you can select something, right? But in this, what will you select? This is a separate control and this is a separate control. What will you select based on this? Are you getting team? Like you cannot select the controls what we have inside the overview. What you can control is you can display actually. You can control the display. I mean, you can control the rendering of the controls. Wow, this is going a bit complex, but let me tell you very clearly. See, overview has two controls. That is circular progress bar. We assume that progress bars and tabs are separate controls. Yes, there are actually separate controls. Okay, I'm explaining your question only, Faiz. So overview is a feature, right? Overview has two controls. That is circular progress bar and tab bar. Okay, these two are separate components. Keep this in mind. Okay, keep this. One, please note this. Suppose overview feature Let me show you. This is our overview preview, right? This is solely responsible to display the controls of overview. Okay. Here inside this, the logic what we are going to perform is we are going to get the list of overview controls. You can see here, right? So inside that list, we'll check whether we have overview circular progress bar in the list. Do we have this overview circular progress bar in the list? If yes, we'll render this component. Else, we won't render it. Okay. If we have this overview tab bar inside the list of overview controls, then we will render the overview tab bar. Else, we won't render it. You got that we are actually controlling the rendering of the controls. We are not kind of selecting this control. We are not kind of selecting this control. Is it clear? I hope your question has been answered and the confusion is gone. Are we good, team? Okay, great. Perfect. Now let me jump into the action types again. So yep. So by that we don't need this action. Guys, you guys have done pretty decent job. Update PF control list. PF control list update. This is also I'll keep this in interesting category because you guys are trying to update if the user role has been updated suddenly. But my question is, just think of it. I mean, okay. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. So control management is fine. Progress management. Set overview, circle progress data. Set overview, progress state. Hmm. Set overview progress state. Updates your circular progress data. Reset overview progress. No, we don't have anything to reset. Maybe I mean we cannot specifically reset the overview progress data. It is good to have that kind of control with whatever we are going to implement. It is nice to have and it is good to have, but I don't think so. We can achieve that in this iteration because I mean to display a default thing, Rishi. No. You cannot. Instead, what we can display is we can display a simple loading indicator. We cannot display any default values with users website performance because it is solely based on the performance, right? If we display something a default performance like 100, user will assume that it showed 100. Okay, fine, my website is good. Suddenly, after a fraction of seconds, you are going to display that 80, 90, kind of 95 and 98. So he'll think that what happened suddenly? Why did the performance of my website suddenly drastically go down? These kind of unusualities will be there with the user. So that is why we cannot show any default numbers. Got it, Faiz? I hope it answered your question. Okay, coming to the progress state, updates the progress data. I mean, you don't need a state actually. You have an action, you will just update that action. That's all. It is good to have a separate state where you can store the previous data and all. We can think of it actually. Maybe we'll see. Okay. I'll also check in my actions. I don't remember whether by default, we can show empty circular bars. No. Instead, we can show a simple loading action, like wait for some time. We are fetching some progress, overview progress, where you are going to see some performance, accessibility, best practices, and so on so on. We'll just display a small message or some loading indicator. Got it, Akash? Great. Thank you, Akash. So coming back to this progress state, we'll think of it. We'll think of it. Reset overview progress. Reset is also a good idea, but we are not focusing on this sprint. Reset and stop and all functionalities. We are not focusing on this sprint. Okay, and set overview progress state. Update the circular progress data. Okay, we'll think of it. UI and state management. Set overview UI state. Set tab collection. UI state. Update the UI state of the overview hub. What do you mean by this? I mean, you are updating the UI based on the roles and packages again, or you are displaying something else. Akash and Faiz and who else are there in the team? Firdos and Pawan. Okay, set overview, update the UI state for the overview hub. This is not very clear for me, like what it is. Okay, meanwhile, set tab selection. Updates the active tab in the UI. Uh, Good gaming. Hi, hi, good gaming user. I don't know who is he, but this is a session where we are discussing about the action types, what we are focusing on in our sprint one. So, kind of grooming session. That is what it is going. Yeah, please refer to the previous videos of this interns channel. You can find it out and you can understand what is going on. Thank you. So set overview UI state, updates the UI state for the overview hub to dynamically present the progress bar or something else whenever improved. Uh, Improved or I mean, do you mean by okay? Glad to know that. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you so much. Thank you, Guru. Okay, so do you mean by improved in the sense like do you mean by increasing of the numbers of the progress bars or kind of that type of thing? Okay, let me tell you guys. So basically, we are not updating the state of the UI. We are just updating the values of the controls which are there in the UI. Okay, so basically that you are taking that you are actually taking care here. Update the circular bar progress components within the overview kitchen. You're taking care of that here itself. So we are not updating the UI state. Okay, so I'm reminding this. So set tab selection. No, that is already taken here. That is already taken care here. Okay, so you don't need this. Reset UI state. UI to default state. So reset UI to default state. You can keep it like this. I mean, I'm able to understand what you're trying to say. You're just coming to Faiz and Akash and whoever are there in the respective team. Uh, so what you wanted to do is uh, you want to show some default values when the user enters into your module, right? So instead, what I would suggest is suppose I'm a user, right? So let us assume that I'm a user and I entered into your module for the first time. Okay, so for the first time I should not be able to see any default values. What you'll do is you'll just show a loading indicator that wait for some time. We are running some progress behind the scenes. After that, once you get the result, you display that. Okay, so you save the state. You save that state, and if I relog in, and if I try to log in again, and if I try to log in again, just okay. Got it, Suresh. Yeah. So Yeah. So basically, if I log in again into this module or into this, if I log in again into this module, then I should be able to see the default values of the last state. What I mean of the last values, whatever we got in the previous audit. Means we should be able to. I mean, if user login, so we should be able to ask the user. I mean, we should be able to provide users this kind of options, that whether you want to restart the whole audit or whether you want to restart from where you have stopped from. That kind of audit and that kind of controls you can specify to the users. That way, he'll be able to understand, and you'll be able to show some default state uh, in the UI, on the UI. Okay. I hope it is clear, Faiza. Default state means what you have to show in the default state. That should be clear by now, right? Okay. I'll go to the next. Okay. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you. So coming to this, uh, set PF display config. Updates display settings on configuration for features. No, 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 no. Files we are not focusing on settings or configurations for features in this bit. So maybe in other spins we'll speak it speak that about. Okay, coming to error and loading state, error message, clear error message, set loading state. These are quite good enough, but loading of clear error message and loading of clear loading status. If it is, keep it as a small flag. Like if loading status is true, just display loading status till it becomes false. Like that. And inside the error message, just keep it as a toast. Means you just pass a message to that toast. It will just display for some seconds. That might be 1 or 2 seconds, 1 or 2 seconds, and it will just vanish away by itself. Right. Okay, coming to this update PF feature list and update PF control list, which I was actually telling that this is interesting. Let me go through a small concept. Let me go through a small concept. Go through a small concept, that is use effect. So use effect is the hook which will call which will be called whenever the component has rendered, whenever the component is rendered, right? uh, you got the concept, right? So use effect is the hook which will be called whenever the component is rendered. uh, are you guys familiar with this, like the performance module team? So use effect is called whenever the component is rendered in React. Okay. So if this is clear, then your answer will be you'll get your answer. Faiz, Akash, Pavan, Fidos. Okay, fine. So, so basically, I'm repeating it again. Use effect is called whenever the component is rendered, right? So, uh, coming to this architecture diagram, here, as I told, this display controller is the central hub. We are getting the features which are allowed, and we are updating the features. I mean, we are updating the features in the state management, everything in the use effect only. So whenever user changes his role or the package type, it will be updated automatically. So we no need to worry about the updation process because use effect is taking care of that. So there is no need of this update PF feature list and update PF control flags. I mean action types. Got that? I'm going to remove these two flags. After that, we are going to discuss about the flags which I have uh, got to you. Uh, Anyone from performance module? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Akash. Thank you so much. So I'm going to remove this. Now let us discuss about the action types. What I have with me. Okay. So we completed for navigation module, and now we are into performance module. So we have a set PFM role, which actually sets the user role. Uh, these three flags are pretty much same for all modules. Okay. So here, this action which you are going to use to set the package type based on the user subscription. That is admin. Sorry, this is not admin. Premium and basic. Okay. So you will get this document, guys. No need to worry. Where you can clearly study and go through each and every example, whatever you need to do. So and we have this is authenticated flag. We have this PFM features. That is overview is our feature, right? So these are PFM features. That is performance module features. Okay. And coming to this performance module selected feature, the default selected feature tab is overview. Okay, so that is what I mean by this. In future, we'll add some more features, right? So that is kind of performance, accessibility, so on so. But the default selected feature will be the overview. So that is the main use of this action type. Okay, coming to the set PFM feature options. So in these features, we have two options, that is mobile and desktop. Okay, so which we were discussing here, this part, this mobile and desktop. We have different types of audits for mobile and website, right? For mobile and desktop, right? So those two are the options. Suppose see this flag, see this action type, you will be able to understand it even more better. So this set, okay, because we mentioned it because we are going to set a value, right? So for which module? Performance module. For which feature? It is for overview feature. For which option we are checking it? We are checking it for mobile. For which control? So basically we have for mobile and desktop we'll have almost pretty much same controls, that is circular progress bar and tab bar control. Okay. So we have same controls for mobile and desktop, that is CPB and tab bar control. Okay, so that is what here is overview and desktop and controls. Okay, coming to the data, I mean, okay, let us assume user selected mobile. Okay, so now you what you have to do? You have to display the progress bar values with respect to mobile only, right? So that data set performance module, overview feature, mobile option, circular progress bars data. So that is the action type. Okay. In the same way, we have, as I told in the building block, we gave you some performance, accessibility. We also gave you some tabs right here. So that tabs data will be something like this: set performance module, overview feature, and the option type is mobile, and the control. is tab bar control, right? So inside that we are setting the performance data, accessibility data, best practices data, SEO data, and in the same way we have inside mobile. What we are just keeping here is we are just adding desktop. Desk means it's desktop. Okay. So here we have circular progress bar data, and in the same way we have inside the tab bar we have performance data, and we have accessibility, best practices, SEO. Got it? So these are the datas, I mean action types related to the data. Okay, coming to this set PFM export data. I mean, we will add this action type if we get some buffer in the sprint. Export data. I mean, user should be able to export the data maybe in Excel format, or maybe in uh, a separate format that might be CSV file or Excel file or JSON format. At one format, we'll try to export the data. That way user can download the data whatever he is getting, whatever the audit he is getting, or else sometime in future sprints we can also do something like this. We will we'll get the average audit of the website after some iterations. Maybe for 10 iterations we'll take the average of all iterations of the website audits whatever we are getting, and we'll bring the average data and we'll export that we'll give an option to the user that you can export this uh, average data. Okay. Okay, in the same way, we have some error handling flags. That is set PFM error notification, info notification, loading state, save action, and also it is good to have a history action so that user can actually uh, check that where he had left previously. Actually, okay. At the same time, I'm going to repeat this again. You need to make sure you have to validate the data, whatever you are getting, and whatever the user is giving. Okay. So we need to build models in that way only. We should not make sure that data is a valid data. We should make sure that we need to validate, and we need to make sure that uh, we need to make sure that that data is a valid data, so we can perform the computing whatever we want to I mean perform. Okay, so that is all the action types what we figured it out. So let us keep under feel free to add some inputs if you want to add some more actions, or if you want to get clarified with the other actions. Now I'm open to the questions. Do you have any questions, team, performance module team, on the action types, what we had figured it out? Or do you want to add something? Or else we are good. Okay, thank you, Akash. Are you telling on behalf of your team, or you're just replying as an individual? Okay, thank you, Pawan. Thank you so much. Okay, okay. Meanwhile, okay, thank you, Akash. So you're telling on behalf of your team, so I'll skip to the next module. So this performance team modules is done. Okay, guys, I'm repeating this again. You're going to get this document, no worries. Uh, then you can have a discussion with your assigned mentors, and you can add if you want to add more action types and all. Okay. So next, I'm going to the we are going to discuss about the preview management module. Yes, I'm sorry, we started before, but I forgot to discuss about the action types of deployment team. Now let us start discussing about this again. So coming this preview management module, uh, as I told, this is quite similar to navigation builder module. I mean, the essence of this module is similar, but the functionalities are a bit different. Okay, so in sprint one, What you are going to focus is you are going to focus on the basic UI layout, what you are going to see. I mean, the UI, what you are seeing here, that is what you are going to focus on, and the basic customization. Okay. In the building block, you might have got two tabs, that is Android and iOS. And under that, you might have got some device types, and there is a small preview section. If you click on this device name, this device name will be previewed here. They will be uh, rendered here. Is that right? Preview management team. Bhagya, Venkata Bhavani, Devi Prasanna, Nusrat Fatima. Are you guys there? Okay, thank you, Bhagyalakshmi. So, are you replying on behalf of your team or by individual, Bhagyalakshmi, so that I can make sure that if you are replying means your team is replying. Okay, thank you, Devi Prasanna. Thank you so much. So it's good that everyone is participating. I like it. So here you got this layout, right? You got this layout. So what you need to do is you need to change it to this layout. Okay. So if user clicked on this Android, you need to show something like this. There should be a tab, screens, and you should display the sizes. Okay. That is how you have to show. We'll also discuss. We'll also have a clear session about or have a clear session about the doubts you have on how to implement the UI. That is not a problem. But if you need in-depth about if anyone who needs in-depth explanation about the overall architecture diagram of this module, please make sure that you have to watch the recorded video of this module. I mean the sprint one's grooming session of this module. Okay, so to summarize this overall system diagram, overall system architecture diagram, yep, this is also a similar module of previous modules, not the performance module, but similar to uh, navigation builder module and asset customization module. Okay, so here also we are going to send three prop types, that is uh, package type, role, and is authenticated. Okay, so here we have two components, that is display controller and this preview controller. And display controller is solely responsible to handle the data, to handle the data and render the UI. Okay, so to handle the data and render the UI, that is the main functionality of this display controller. And now if you see inside this display controller, what it is doing is it is getting the features. What are the features we are uh, what are the features we are allowing for this type of package and for this type of role. And where are we getting those features from? We are getting those features from feature handler. And how this feature handler is defining that we need to display these features for this package and for this role based on the feature config data. I mean the JSON data, whatever we have inside this, it will pass through this config file and it will check whether for this package and for this role whether which features are allowed, and it will figure out the features and it will create a new list. And what it will do is it will just return the new list to the display controller. Got it? And now we have the features, right? So what we did is we just updated the features in the state management. So that way we are storing everything in a centralized store. Okay. So far, after discussing all these three modules, you might have been familiar with what state management is. To summarize it, state management is a centralized store where you can store or perform some. Yeah, thank you, Bhavani. So where you can store or perform some actions or perform some computations inside the state management only. So that way, if anyone wants to talk to your module, they can actually talk to the state management. I mean, they can actually communicate with the state management and they can get the data whatever they want to. Okay. And yes, we got the features and we also updated them in the state management. And now what we are doing is we are passing the features to the controllers, feature controller. This feature controller is solely responsible to render these controls. Okay, so basically we got the features and now we are sending those features to the controller. Using that controller, we are displaying actually the devices what we want to display, the Android devices, the iOS devices, and all. We are getting the list from these two components. Okay, these are controls actually. Okay, so now everything has been updating in the state management, right? So how is the preview displaying the live preview of everything? So basically, the live preview of everything has been displayed using this hook, this use PMM state hook, which is implemented in the state menu. So, I mean, in the previous modules also, the navigation builder module and the asset customization module. In these three modules, in these two modules, also we have been using state management to actually render the UI in the preview controller. Okay, so that is how we are using state management to render the data, to render the UI inside the preview controller. Got it? So yeah, this is the whole summary of the overall system diagram. But coming to this feature specific diagram, this is pretty much similar. Suppose we have user is interacting with the A devices, that is Android devices. So we have some specific type of Android devices. Let us assume that we have Samsung S8 and we have Galaxy and all, so on, so etc. Suppose the user clicked on this device. Okay, so user clicked on this, then what will happen? The will dispatch an action that we have set. We have a Android device which is selected. Okay, we have an Android device which is selected, and with a new device, the payload will be the later. What is that device? What is that device? Okay, so now in reducer, we'll check what is the action type. Okay, the action type is this. Okay, then update this value. Okay, then what are we doing? We are, as I told, in state management, we have a hook that is use payment state. Using this hook, we are just rendering everything in the preview controller, right? So here also, we are using the same hook. If you observe, we are using the same hook in the preview component, and we are rendering the selected device. So where is this selected device? This selected device is here in the state. So that is how we are updating. I mean, we are able to see the data, the device, whatever we selected in the Android device or iOS device, which is actually rendering in the preview controller in your building block. Okay, so that is the reason. I hope it is clear, and please make sure that you watch the video again. I mean, I just gave you the brief overview of what is happening here uh, in the overall system diagram. Now let us discuss about the action types what your team has given. Okay, it's PMM. So let us see toggle PM cyber. Guys, this is a time to interact. Let us interact together and let us find out what are the action types which we wanted to keep. Okay, so toggle PM sidebar. Toggle PM sidebar. Okay, thank you, Bhagilakshmi. Thank you. So toggle PM sidebar. Do you mean by selecting Android means you're going to get a tab like kind of that? Are you going to speak? Are you thinking about that by the for this action type? Do you want me to explain it again, Bhagyalakshmi? Okay. Okay, show or hide the device category. What do you mean by device category? Do you mean by this tab? Do you mean by this tab or this one? I hope you mean by this. Okay, you mean by this Android and iOS. Okay, so that is a good thought. That is a good thought, actually. That is a good thought. I'm impressed. So what you're telling is you can actually toggle these two also. Means kind of. Uh, okay, let me draw something. Let me draw something. That way, I'll get even more a bit even more clarity. So if you click on suppose maybe you'll have some option here like this, something like I'm drawing it as a big circle, but it'll be small, like this arrow. If you click on this, all you'll have is this small icon. Do you mean by this? If I click on this again this UI will be displayed. Uh, okay, great. It's a nice to have feature, Bhagyalakshmi. Uh, but let us think of it because you know if I remove this, if we remove this, if we toggle this, there's nothing here. There is nothing here. That's a plain blank screen. We'll come up with some innovative ideas. This is how we have to start interacting. This is how we need to interact. We should not keep any screen as a blank screen. So if it is a blank screen without instead of without showing any controls, then user will be confused, right? So think you as a from user perspective. So either we need to show some small kind of arrow animation to highlight this, like we need to make sure that you need to tell user that okay, you need to click this now, you need to click this now by showing some arrow animations. You need to we need to think something innovatively so that we can keep this white area or we can keep this blank area more interactive. Okay, we will think of it, Bhagyalakshmi, but it's a good to have feature. Okay, yeah, thank you, Bhagyalakshmi. I'll point it out as good to have. Okay, so select PM device size. PM device size means preview management, so device size. Uh, what do you mean by device size? Which device? Which device are you speaking about? Because Android has different devices, iOS has different devices, and yeah, these types of different devices will be there. And I mean, we are speaking about two or different operating systems, right? Maybe in future we'll get desktop selected device size. Okay, so you're not mentioning that you're actually selecting the device size which is respective to Android or iOS. What you are telling me is you're just telling that whatever the device is selected, that is taken care by this action, right? Great. That is actually good, but I would prefer in another different way. Like if this Android device is selected, this iOS device is selected, kind of you can divide it in multiple processes. I mean multiple uh, modules because you are giving a broader scope. You can actually nurture into each and every detail instead of just giving just selected device. So give some broad perspective. I mean, uh, you know, if you divide it into different modules, like if you are actually having a separate action flag for uh, to specify the selected Android device, the selected iOS device, the selected so and so device. If you keep it like that, you are giving even more internal details, even more. You are specifically telling that this is the exact device which I am going to show with the respective control, that is iOS, Android, so and so. That is good, but we'll discuss whether we have to keep it in a generic way or we have to keep it in a modular way. We'll discuss it out later. But okay, coming to this PM preview management device orientation. Yep, this is a nice to have. This is this is innovative. This is innovative. I haven't written this to be uh, speaking very frankly. I haven't written this. I'll make sure that I also note it down in my document, in the document which we are going to flood it out. Okay, this is not taken care. Okay, reset select PM device. Okay, so your the this functionality means you are what you are doing is you are making the selected device as null. That's all right. Great. So coming to this PM custom configuration. Custom configuration means, are you going to give some custom width and height? Do you mean by that? You're going to give. Okay, great. That is also good to have. Nice to have. Action. Uh, but Bhagilakshmi, we need to make sure that the kind of the to dos or the notes whatever I am writing, we need to make sure that we will implement those action types only if and only if we complete our sprint task. Like our sprint one, we have a specific goal for our sprint one, right? If we complete that early and if we get some buffer, then we will implement these actions too. But we can, if you want, we can add some dummy actions also, but that won't help much, right? Okay. So preview mode. So this preview mode, do you mean by this theme? Like this is what you are writing, right? Preview mode is the theme, or you are saying about the custom configuration means the theme? Uh, no, we don't need this preview mode because you have added already the toggle feature, right? So full screen, there's no full screen, Bhagyalakshmi. Here it is like this. You're just displaying the whole UI in the specific screen size which user has selected. That's all. I mean, if you are speaking about the module, if you wanted to show your module to occupy the whole full screen, then uh, that is not necessary because that is taken care. That is taken care already in the dashboard. What you are going to, if you observe, you have been given your module with the dashboard also, right? So in the dashboard itself, you'll have the full screen module. So no need to worry about that. So preview URL management. Set preview URL, reset preview URL. You don't want to keep this reset preview URL. Once the URL is set, it is set. That's all. Okay. So PM error, this is also good. Preview URL, this is also good. So we figured out these action types. So now let us discuss about the action types. What I have for you, what we have for you. So this is the preview management module, and let us go here. So here we have this preview management role, and preview management package. This is pretty similar with the previous modules too. And the preview management is authenticated flag, and we have preview management features, that is Android or iOS. You are familiar with this, right? So Android tabs, inside the Android we have separate tabs. Let me show you what I mean with this. So for demonstration purpose, I'm writing it horizontally, but you please try to assume that as a vertical component. Okay, so here we have Android, right? And now, if a user clicked on Android, then we are going to display a tab or drop down or a kind of sliding card kind of. Okay, so here we have screens. Okay, this is a tab. Inside screens, we'll have some multiple screens. Okay, so Android is actually a feature. Okay, one second, let me show you. Android is actually a feature. Inside that feature, we have Android tabs. That is screen sizes, or maybe in future we'll add emulators. Okay, so these screen sizes. One second. These screen sizes are nothing but these screens. These screens. Okay, I hope you got it. So, in the same way, we have to show that set PMM, that is preview management module, and the selected Android tab. So the default tab here, the default tab which user will see is screens. So where we'll display something like different screen sizes, like 1080 into cross 1920, like some Android devices screen sizes, which you'll get, no worries. And coming to this, in the same way in emulators, you will see some Android emulators one, emulator two, which you are not going to worry about in this print. But I just added for understanding purpose, so that you can so that you can understand the feature, and you can understand the module even more better, and you can add some better action types. Okay, that is the main motive why I have added this action types. So in the same way we have iOS tabs, in the same way we have screens and emulators, and in iOS tab, the selected default iOS tab is screen sizes, and inside the screen sizes we have respective screen sizes, and in iOS emulators we have some respective iOS emulator names, and till now we focus on the features and the tabs. Android tab and iOS tab. Okay, and after that we have this error notification, we have this info notification, loading state, save action, and validation. So save action, it is these all actions are uh, common for each and every module. Okay, so error notification, or basically it's just a toast message which will just display the kind of a small pop-up, which will stay for 2 to 3 seconds on the UI, just displaying that there is an error you got. Okay, kind of info notification. Each type of notification has some different colors. Okay, so in the same way we have this loading state, save action. Save action is nothing but just to save the previous instance where user had left. Okay, so that way if user logged in again, then he can start it from there itself. Okay, and after that, you are going to validate whether the URL is a valid URL or not, whether it's a HTTPS URL or it's a localhost URL. If it is a localhost URL, what we are going to do is we are going to show that for now, we are going to show that this URL is not a security URL kind of for now. Okay, maybe in future we can also display the uh, uh, development URLs too. Okay. Any questions, Bhagilesh? Okay, one second. How the UI looks after? selecting the device, just display the device? That is an interesting question. So in this print, what we are going to do is we are going to just display the device name. If we get a buffer, if we get buffer, then what we are going to do is we are going to display an iframe with respective width and with respective height of respective device. You got that, Bhagilakshmi? It totally depends on the buffer what we have and the progress what we are going to make. Name is already displaying. Yes, I know that the name is already displaying, but the UI, the UI what we are expecting, it is not yet implemented, and I believe, I believe that is a bit. I believe that building this UI will take time. So that is why we limited the task of this print one for this extent only. But we have some extra tasks if we get some buffer. That is this. Here, instead of name, what we'll do is we'll display the iframe. If you are getting my point, iframe is nothing but a separate screen where you can load a separate HTML screen. Like you can render a website inside that iframe itself. So basically, you are taking a URL as a prop for this module, right? So you are going to load the website, which is of this URL inside this iframe. So that is what you are going to do if we get buffer. Got that, Bhagilakshmi? Okay. So are you asking questions on behalf of your team, or just you're asking as an individual? If you're asking as an individual, Bhavani, Devi Prasanna, and Nusrat Fatima, please ask me the questions whatever you have. Okay, thank you, Bhagilakshmi. So it is good that you are actually contributing and communicating on behalf of your team. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, then. Let's concentrate on the last module which we are going to discuss for this live session. That is deployment automation module. So I just have to make sure that these team members are here. Deployment automation module. Uh, Venkata Sai Dhanush, Mani Sharma, Pujit, and Nagendra. Are you guys here? Okay. Hi Pujit. Hi Pujit. What about your team members? Your team members are also here. Okay, Nagendra. Nagendra, thank you so much. Thank you, Dhanush. Thank you. So Mani Sharma, yeah, Pujit. I remember you said something about Mani Sharma. Let us focus on this deployment automation module. So basically, in this deployment automation module, in Sprint One, what you are going to focus is the basic layout of this module and the customization options. Like you're going to add some input elements, that is app customization, app icon, description, and privacy URL. Okay. So app configuration is a feature. Okay, I am specifically stressing on these words because our whole action types are based on these keywords. That is why I am trying to stress these are features, these are controls, these are sub controls. Kind of, I'm trying to stressing it out. I'm trying to stress it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, good. So, yep, you are going to build a tab layout where you have a separate feature that is app configuration. You have a separate control inside the app configuration that is basic configurations, and you'll also have some advanced configuration tabs. Sorry, advanced configuration divs. This is a separate box, or maybe you can keep it as a grade. Inside the grid you have a separate form kind of. You can name it as I mean, we have multiple ways to implement this, right? So it totally depends on what is the exact UI element we are going to use. I prefer to use form. Okay, so now let us see the architecture diagram of this. I hope you guys had watched the recorded session of this uh, module sprint grooming session. So for this module also we are going to send three props, that is role, package type, and is authenticated. Role is to just it defines the role of the user, whether it is user or admin, and the package type is whether it is the package type is premium or the package type is uh, basic. Okay, you can also add some more. I mean, you'll get all these details uh, soon in the next sessions. Okay, so yes, here also we have this deployment automation module. This is the main entrance of this deployment automation module. So this DA display controller is solely responsible to handle the data and to perform the computations related to the data. It is nowhere related to rendering. Okay, this architecture diagram is pretty much similar with the performance module team. I mean PFM module. Okay, so and the whole UI is rendered by this preview controller. Okay, and this whole state management is responsible for, I'd say, centralized store where we will update the data and modify the data. Okay, so coming to this central hub, DA display controller is a central hub. You might have been familiar with this term right now, term by now, because we have been discussing from from the starting of the live onwards. So this in this central in this display controller or the central hub, we are using a hook that is from state management, which is this is the only hook which we are using to communicate with the state management. And we have this use effect hook also. Inside this use effect, what we are doing is we are just getting the features. Okay, based on the we're just getting the features, and we're allowed features. I mean, I wanted to specify that I wanted to pin that we are getting the allowed DA features, means deployment automation features from feature handler. So where is this feature handler getting from? It is getting from DA feature config. So DA feature config have some set of rules. I mean, we have data configured in such a way that for this role, for this package, we need to display these features. Okay, so we will figure out all those features and we'll create a list and we'll return that list to the display controller. Okay, so now we got the features. Okay, so as I told, this whole display controller is responsible to handle the data, right? But what does a preview controller will do till then? So preview controller, we cannot make it, we cannot keep it blank. Uh, we cannot keep it blank till we get the data, and then once we get whole data, then only we'll render it. We should not keep those kind of terms. We should not. We cannot make. We cannot make the user sit silently and keep watching the black screen. It is weird, right? So what we have to do is we got the features, and what we'll do is we'll update the features in the state management. Got it? So now from state management, what we'll do is inside inside this preview controller we are using this hook. There is a hook which is used to communicate with the state management. Okay, so this is also the same hook we are also using inside the display controller also, if you can observe, if you see. So using this hook only, one component or one module can able to communicate with the state management. Okay, inside this module, please make it clear that we need to use this hook to communicate with the state management inside this module. Okay, so we are using this hook to communicate with the state management, and we are communicating and we are getting this features, current feature list. And what are we doing with the features? We are rendering the features. That is nothing but app configuration tab. We got the app configuration. I'll for short form I'm going to write it as app config. Okay. We got the tab like this. Okay. Now what is left? We need to get the basic configuration. We need to get the basic configuration and we need to display that. It's a control, right? Yeah. So basic configuration is a control, right? So we got the feature and that feature name is app config, right? So we send that feature to the feature controller. Okay. So now this feature controller acts as another feature hub for all features. Like uh, we have multiple features. Let us keep it like this. Okay. This is the feature handler. This is the feature handler. We got the features, right, from state management. So it will check what are the feature list we have. Okay, and it will call the respective feature hubs. Suppose we got the list of these two features, 1 and 2. Okay, this feature list has 1, 2, so it will trigger only these two. It won't trigger this. Okay, so that is what this feature control is taking care of. So now, for now, in this sprint, we have only app config. So app config hub is going to be called, and this app config is solely, this hub is responsible to handle all the communications, to handle all the logic, or to handle all the backend. I mean the request sending APIs and all. Everything will be configured here. Okay. So here we are going to get the allowed controls, get app config allowed controls. Here we are going to get the get allowed APIs for the app config controls. Got it? So where are we getting these APIs and where are we getting these controls from? We are getting these APIs and we are getting these controls from respective app config API handlers and app config control handlers. Where is this getting from? This is getting from the configuration file. This is what we have been looking from initial, from starting onwards. So here also we are sending the package, the role, and actually we have to send features here. Okay. So with respect to the feature, we got the controls, we got the APIs. Okay, we got the controls and we got the APIs. So as I told, if we get something, we need to render it. So basically, it doesn't make any sense that we are going to render the APIs. We should not render the APIs, right? So we can render the controls, right? So inside the controls, if we have, let us assume that we have for the specific user type, user package type, and for specific user role, we have to mention or we have to display only basic configuration. Okay, then we will send the list of app config controls and we'll check those controls, what are those controls, and we'll display those app config subcontrols. That is, you can create a separate components also if you want. You can keep it as basic configuration controls, and you can keep it as advanced configuration controls, and you can divide it into multiple components, or else you can keep it in the single component itself. Clean. Okay. So now we are left with APIs. So we have a separate service which is solely responsible to send request to the backend. Okay, so this is responsible to send the app config related data and everything to the server. So they is solely responsible to send the request related to app config. Okay, and after that we'll have some more things like advanced configuration and all. Inside that we'll have some metadata flags, we'll have some build version numbers, and after that we'll have uh, version configurations and all. We'll add those all too, but for this sprint what we are going to focus is we are going to focus on the basic layout and adding some small input values and sending the uh, respective request using the respective APIs. That is what we are going to work on. Till now, is it clear the team from deployment automation module? At which point the API config hub is actually called or invoked? Okay, I mean to render. Are you asking about when will we render? Pujit, are you typing something or? Okay, uh, I Okay, let me tell you where will we get the app con? Okay, I mean beside the DA feature controller. Okay, DA feature controller. This one. Okay. So are you clear about this? Here we are going to get the feature, right? Okay. Are you clear about this block? Okay, good. So inside this component itself, we are calling this component. So that is how we are keeping the link between these two. Okay, and we are sending the features to this controller. Okay, so this is the only link we have. We are actually calling the DA display controller. Sorry, we are actually calling the feature controller inside the display controller. Once we get the features, suppose let us assume that inside the feature array we have this app config. Okay, so inside this DA feature controller, okay, what are the features we got? What is the selected feature by the user? So if it is app config, so it will automatically call the respective configuration controller, that is app config controller. Is it clear? Okay, thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you so much. So, yeah, do you guys have any questions on this system diagram? I mean, do you have any more questions on this? Or else we can jump into the action types what you have given to me. And then we'll also discuss the action types what we have for you. Okay, meanwhile, I'll open this. Damn. Okay. Wow. There's a big list. Okay, so user authentication and role model, these two are perfect. No doubt, Rishi, so far. Thank you. Thank you, Pujit. So we have here set authentication, set user role, set user package, right? These two are good. Logout user, no, you don't need to take care of. Update role and permissions, you don't need to take care of because remember this, guys. You have these two flags, right? And using these two flags only, you should be able to control each and everything because roles and permissions are already given here. What is the roles and what are the permissions you need to give based on the package type, right? So you don't need a separate flag for this. Refresh session. This is interesting. So we can think of it. It is a nice to have feature. So basically, refresh session. Let me confirm. Uh, so what you are trying to tell me is, do you want to show something, a kind of live rendering kind of? Are you speaking something about live rendering of data? Means some data will be updating continuously, so it refreshes the user session to ensure continued access to without needing to re-authenticate. Mm, this is actually good. This is actually good. This is actually good. Uh, okay, we'll think of it. I mean, we have one more day to finalize the whole actions, whatever we have. We'll commonly decide and we'll commonly discuss about what is the feasibility of this and all. Okay, I'll mark it as this. Okay, so feature management, set all features. Instead set all features, you can keep it like set DAM features. You can keep it like that. I meant you meant that only, right? Set DAM features instead of all features. Okay, great. So I'll keep it as set DAM features. Okay. Set selected feature, fine. Enable feature. No, enable feature and disable feature is already taken care using these two things, because you are actually deciding inside the configuration file. Which I mean, I was speaking about the feature handlers, right? This one. You are actually taking care of that enabling or disabling here inside this configuration file, to be very precise. Okay, so you don't need to add this enable or disable features. Okay, is that okay? I removed that. Okay, good. So, okay, great. Thank you, Pujit. So, coming to these update feature settings, update means if a user role or a kind of if a user role or the package type suddenly changed, let us assume that the user had changed his package type or the role, then it should update automatically. That is what you meant, right? So basically, that is taken care in the use effect concept itself. So you don't need to worry about this, Pujit. Okay, so coming to control management, fetch allowed controls for role, great, selected allowed controls for role. I mean, the naming conventions are quite confusing, but uh, we'll see. Fetch allowed controls for role. Okay, for this role, you are going to fetch what are the controls which are allowed. Okay, that is what I meant. That is what you meant, right? And set allowed controls. If you are fetching, then inside the fetch itself, you can actually set the controls. I mean, you can write these two action types as one action type. That is what I was saying. You don't need two action types. Okay. So I'm going to keep this. Okay. Set selected control. So here, this is an interesting thing to discuss. Okay. I'm going to show you something. So see the DAM team. This is for the DAM team. If you observe, I mean, we have discussed the same problem in the uh, previous teams also. I don't remember the team name, but if you see here, this app configuration is a tab, right? But this basic configuration is not a tab, so we cannot actually select that basic configuration. So instead, we can control whether we need to render that basic configuration or not, whether we can render that what do you say, advanced configurations or not. We need to control them, we cannot select them. Okay, so we don't have this action type. Update control settings. Um, this is a good to have feature. Uh, what do you mean by control settings? Can you tell me a bit more precisely, Pujit? Like, or else you just added because you just wanted to. You're just giving an option to adjust the controls, or do you have something in mind and you gave that we need to update the control settings and all? What do you mean by settings? I didn't understood that properly. Applies update to the selected controls, like changing its configuration options or state. I understood, Pujit. So instead, what you can keep is you have a control, right? That is, let us assume that we have a control that is basic configuration. Inside the basic configurations, action types, payload, I mean the data what you are going to keep for that payload, why don't you keep a dictionary? And if you update the state, if you keep on updating the state wherever the user is going to interact, that state will be the data will be updated automatically. You don't need to uh, keep a separate flag like this. Instead, you can name it like this. You know, set. Uh, you can name it like this. Set allowed instead of controls, instead of allowed, set what is the module name, DAM, and what is the feature name, that is app config. I'm just writing the name, but we'll change the name again. So we have set DAM, the module name that is DAM, and the feature that is app config. And inside that we have the basic configuration that is BSC, maybe BSC. And inside that basic configuration we have a form that is maybe let us keep that we are going to store that form as a dictionary type, so you can keep like this. If you add this type of action, whole data will be updated. You got that, Pujit, and the other team members, I mean Nagendra, Mani, Venkat Saitarush too. Okay, thank you, Pujit. So coming to these control settings, no reset controls to default. Yes, you can keep that action. You can keep that reset option also. Fetch allowed APIs. Okay, APIs, API. Okay, set available APIs. No, this no need of set available APIs. You don't need to update the API settings and all. It will be updated automatically because whatever we are getting, I mean the controls, the features, the subcontrols, and the APIs, everything should be inside the use effect itself. Because if a user performs any action in the module, the component will re-render automatically, right? So when it automatically re-renders, use effect will be called automatically. So then everything will get updated. So you don't need any separate settings to update. I mean for update. Okay. So validate API keys. This is a very good action. I mean. I don't remember. I haven't seen this validate option uh, in other action types, whatever I have seen till now. It's a good job. Good job. Uh, so coming to this reset API settings, reset. No, we are not resetting API. API is fixed always. Okay. I mean, remember this, Dan team people. So we should never ever reset the APIs, or we should never ever change the APIs without involving the backend team. So it is because you have a dependency, right? You have a dependency on backend team, so you should make sure that if you are resetting or if you are doing any operation with respect to the API fetching or fetching the data and all, you need to make sure that you have to have a proper communication with the backend team too. Okay, so it is not like this means we wanted to. We have a very good idea. We have a very good feature to implement, so we are going to implement. It is not like that. We need to make sure that we should have a proper communication with the backend team, so that way backend team also will implement the API in such a way that your front end, uh, your feature actually works. I mean, you got it right. So yeah, coming to this UI interaction, visual state management, set preview UI state. This set preview UI state, uh, set tab selection. No, set tab selection is not here. Set selected feature is nothing but set tab selection. Updates the UI based on the features and its associated controls. No worries. React is popular for rendering everything by itself, so we don't need to take care of that. So set tab selection is already taken care here. You have kept that set selected feature, right? So you don't need to have another action type to set tab selection. Toggle theme is already taken care in the dashboard. Whatever you in the module, whatever you are going to get. I mean, I'm sorry for this. You haven't got the source code yet. You are going to get that soon. But you can play with other source code modules. You can ask your friends and you can check into their modules and you can see their UI and all. You can, I mean, if you see some of the recorded videos of Sprint One's grooming sessions, you'll be able to see what I am saying. Like you'll have a default, you will have this option like dark theme, light theme by default. You have to follow those rules and regulations while implementing your module. Clean. Okay, so you don't need to worry about the toggle theme. No need of animations. We are going to use framer motion. Framer motion. I'm typing it in the chat for our animations. Okay. So admin specific actions: fetch all users, no, ban user, no, unban user, delete user, no, update user, no, fetch. See, here in this module, in not in any module, we are not focusing on any user related management and all. So we are just focusing on the module itself. Okay. But meanwhile, when we integrate this module with the main project, then we'll be very happy to show and we'll be very happy to show you that where we have used your module and how did we integrate. We'll show you a clear graph and clear mapping of everything. How did we integrate it to your module? Okay, that way you'll appreciate what you're doing and how we are integrating that into the main application. Okay. And yes, I hope it is clear so far. Sure. Do you have any questions, guys? Or shall I continue with the uh, actions which we have for you? Okay, thank you so much, Mujit. I really appreciate your communication. Okay, coming to this deployment automation module. So yeah, so set dam role is nothing but it sets a user role and dam package. Okay, thank you, Nagendra. Thank you so much. So DAM package is nothing but set package type based on the user subscription. I mean that is, you know, we have been using the same flags, right? So I have been copying the same second point for all documentation. That is why user and admin is there in each and every document. Give me a second. Let me update it. Basic and the admin name is premium. Okay. So we have this DAM package and we have this DAM is authenticated flag just to check whether the user is authenticated or not. And we have these features that inside these features, you guys almost pretty much covered each and every flag what I'm going to discuss here. So uh, the, yes, you guys almost covered almost each and every flag what I'm going to cover, but just the naming conventions are different. Okay, so DAM features. So here nothing that is nothing but app config is a feature, and here the DAM circuit feature, like the default circuit feature tab is app config, right? In maybe in future sprints we are going to work on other features, right? So that is why but the basic default feature what we are going to show for the user is app config. And coming to these app config controls, we have this basic config and we have this advanced config, and we are going to display the controls based on these flags. I mean, with respect to role and package type. Got it? And after that, we have this. You have to see this set DM, the deployment automation module, and AC. AC is nothing but. Can you say this? Can anyone say this? It is nothing but app configuration. Oh, no, 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 no. It is nothing but app configuration. Okay, so it is nothing but app configuration, and inside that app configuration, we have this basic data. That is name, bundle identifier, app description, and privacy. Here, the basic data, and here we need to show this advanced data. Okay, advanced data is nothing but the advanced config what you are mentioning, project. So inside this advanced data, you will be you will get to know what do you want to display in this advanced data. I mean advanced configurations. We'll give that to you. We have the list, but we haven't added in the document because we thought that for this sprint, I mean, setting the UI layout and everything would be good enough. And after that onwards, for each and every sprint, we can keep on incrementing the load, and we should be able to understand. We should be able to build the rapport, right? So we should be able to understand you, and you should be able to understand us. So that is why this sprint is very light. So meanwhile, if we get enough buffer, we'll also add the uh, controls for advanced data too. Okay. So after that, we have this error notification, info notification, like all other modules. We will also add loading state. We'll also add save action is a thing, but it saves the current state, and so that user when he enters into the module next time, he should be able to start from where he left. Okay, and after that, this is the most important for your module specifically. Suppose if see, guys, form handling is the most important. I mean, we need to make sure that we need to validate each and every value, each and every key, each and every character. So that important form validations is if anything, whatever we are writing inside the form, that is important. So we need to make sure that we need to validate key by key, character by character. Okay. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this session. Uh, that's all for this live session. I hope I'm thinking to wrap it up now. Do you guys have any questions from any other teams, or do you want to add some suggestions that on the live how it is going on? I know it's a long time, but it's a worthy discussion. I mean, it is a very healthy discussion, which will save a lot of time for us. So you will get this document. It's a great session. So actually, we are the last ones. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Pujit. Yes, yes. It's a lengthy session. I'll try to make it up. I mean, these are the discussion sessions, Pujit. It should be like this only. I know we cannot club each and every module, right? So what we did is we kept a live session at a stretch for each and every one. I tried to uh, concentrate to 3 hours, but we are almost 25 minutes up ahead. Next time we'll make sure that we'll complete it by 2 to 3 hours. Okay. Thank you, Pujit. It was a nice day. I hope you all enjoyed the live session, and you got some good inputs out of this. We'll also share the documentation in the respective groups. And if any other viewers who are watching this, if you guys are also interested to get this document, then please contact us in the mail which is given in the description. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you, team. Thank you. Bye.